to another episode of the show Now Worth. We're going to be talking about trending issues and social issues affecting us as a society, individually. And we have wonderful personalities in the house, people you don't want to miss, like adventures you don't want to miss. We're going to be going on a long ride. So I am your host, Wisdom Godwin. Be right back after this break. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the show Now Worth. I am your host, Wisdom Godwin, and by my side is a wonderful people, like wonderful men, legends. So they're going to introduce themselves to us. So, by my left.
My name is Enemy Nerobasele. I am the founder of Skybear's Poetry. I am a spoken word artist, a poet, and a poetry enthusiast, and I am also a social commentator. Professionally, I am a creative content writer, and I love to engage in issues like this. Basically, that's all about me.
Okay, so over to you.
Okay, my name is Usoro Emmanuel. I'm a copywriter, an event companion as MC. I also manage social media pages of people. I have interest in personal development and politics, and currently I'm a columnist at www.rayofthoughts.com. Thank you.
Okay, when you say politics, we're going straight to you aspiring for a political position, right? We're going to vote. I am going to vote. So we're going to be going straight into the topic of today, and today we're going to be talking about self-esteem and everything relating to it. So, Enemy, have you ever experienced a situation of low self-esteem in your life or in a point in your life?
I think you have a very sharp instinct. I think this event, or this show rather, have a very spiritual instinct, because bringing me to talk about low self-esteem or self-esteem is magical. You know, I have a very strong background of low self-esteem. You know, I have a low self-esteem history. People do not believe when I tell them I used to have low self-esteem. At some point that I still have low self-esteem, you know, because they think I am a confident person. But that could be, a clothes I put on. That could be a mask I put on. But yes, I do have a matrimony, a long historical matrimony with low self-esteem.
Yeah. So over to you. So have you ever faced low self-esteem in your life?
Yeah, I have. Though quite a very confident person, but I think I have experienced low self-esteem at some point in my life when I was a child, growing up academically. I felt I could not pass my exams well. I felt there were persons that were prepared for that, and it wasn't my thing. So there was just this innate part of me of always coming 20 feet, 30 feet, and I was just okay with that. There was no kind of inborn listening to actually blow through that. But I thank my dad a lot. My dad actually changed my school. I was schooling in Macaulay then. He changed my school down to Okwara State here. And I don't know, when I got here, there was just this competition around, and there was just this innate feeling. I kept on telling myself I can become better. And for the very first time in my life, not like African parents that lie a lot that they came first during that time. But for me, the first time in my life I came there, oh my God, I celebrated like hair broke out. And since then, it has been wonderful. In the university here, like special grace of God, when ASU resumed strike, I think I should actually graduate with the first class degree by the grace of God. Well, I'm not so sure. Thank you so much.
Okay, I love the announcement. So I'm getting a party. So over to you, Sarah. Do you think at some point, because you said you experienced low self-esteem, did you become a perfectionist at some point to filling that gap of inferiority and all the stuff, like you feel, okay, I'm not okay? Did you become a perfectionist, like you want to do everything, every single thing right?
Okay, first of all, before I answer that question, let us get what low self-esteem is. So in my understanding, I think low self-esteem is a psychological position where an individual thinks that he is not up to a social status quo or a family, at the family level, the family standard, or even a personal standard. You understand? So low self-esteem comes into play when an individual is feeling like, okay, I can't, I'm not good for that thing. You understand? I'm not good enough to express myself. I'm not good enough to express my ideas. My ideas are not good enough. So let me just keep quiet and stay in my place. You understand? And of course, if you're talking about low self-esteem, I do not like talking about low self-esteem without bringing in parenting. Because that's where everything starts from. Parents are not sensitive enough. Most parents are not sensitive enough to bring in that consciousness to their kids, you know. They don't take time to tell their kids everything about childhood. You know, take them through that journey, through that process of the transition of childhood to youthful age to adulthood. So at some point you have to experiment a whole lot. You have to find out the facts for yourself, and you can miss a whole lot of points through that process, you know. Yes, as a child, I have always been brilliant. I think if you tell me I'm intelligent, I do not want to take credit for that, because it's just like an hormonal stuff. So I don't even work as hard as I am supposed to personally, because naturally I've always been smart, but then something was missing. At some point in my life, I went to a seminary. My secondary education was at Academy Seminary, and then in the seminary, you know, you don't have to be too expressive, you know, because of how you're trained. There is something we call magnum silentium, solemn silence. So we did all of that desert experience a whole lot, you know, to discover our inner self, that meditation thing. But then, I think I did not really fit into that place. So, for the very fact that I have to live to a particular standard, and I cannot meet that standard, and I feel bad about not meeting that standard, and then there is an auxiliary, there is a senior student who is hitting me, abusing me physically, telling me I am not good enough for this place, I should better get out of this place. You see that energy, and that energy forms something inside of me that allows me to be defensive now. You understand? You see, I am transitioning from my childhood background. You understand? My parents were this kind of parents that would not, you know, they would not give you that parenting presence. You understand? My father just believed you could take care of yourself. My mother was like, if anything went wrong, she would hit me and all of that thing. And I just have to grow a thick skin to resist these things. You understand? But then inside that person that is facing all of these things, there is a subtle mind who is feeling down. You understand what it means for a child to feel down already? There is a subtle mind who is feeling down. And then I am, with that little experience, I am fighting to come out of that place, and I can't even process what is going on. You understand? And before you know it, I am an adult who doesn't even know what confidence is. Okay. You understand? So that is my story. And then I grew into a place. You talked about competition. I grew into a place where I had so many competitions, and then I had to stand out. I just felt I should stand out. I have always wanted to perform, you understand? And these people are, in my mind, these people are very good. They are better than I am. So I started reading books, you understand? I started reading books, and then I started hitting myself so hard. I started doing a whole lot of stuff that really shaped my mind. And then I now understood that confidence is a thing of the mindset, you understand? I fake confidence a whole lot. When people see me perform on stage, you know, people give me credit for being a very good performer. But you won't know. Inside my trousers, there are flesh, there are bones that are shaking, my muscles, everything are shaking, you understand? But the skill here is that you can put this person in front of people. You know, life is, I believe life is a make-believe. You can make people say confidence even when you are not actually confident. I think that is the virtue there. Yeah.
Okay, moving from the concept of bullying, I'm going to join to you. We've had bullying. Yes, it's a normal thing to bring down self-esteem really hard. So I'm going to the concept of cyber bullying. Yeah, I'm leaving the real world. The real world here. We're going into the virtual world where social media has taken a place in our lives. Yeah, and then how has that affected self-esteem? How has that contributed to low self-esteem?
Yes, social media actually has a very huge influence on our lives. Understand?
Yeah.
So many people out there oppressing people. Yeah. So I think there is need for social media education, because there's a whole lot of stuff on social media that's fake. Yeah. A whole lot of lifestyles that is fake. Like you said, make believe. Majority of what we have on Facebook is on social media in general is make believe. And some persons go out there and they see it and they're like, there's this oppression, like there's this innate critic. There's how you start criticizing yourself that you are not like that. Understand? Things like see my mate, stuff like that. Before you start lowering yourself. Okay. I remember when I made a post recently. Someone saw me and the person was just doing boss. I look at me and I'm nobody.
But you look like a boss.
And the guy was just it's so the social media has actually contributed a lot to bringing down people's low self-esteem.
Okay. So I'm going to come back to you because driving from the fact that you, from your profile, you're a black advocate and then you advocate for us blacks. And do you think that our society, because we have a relationship with a society, we cannot leave a society out of the talks of relationships. Yes. So do you think that in a way we have faced low self-esteem as a society?
Yes, as black people, as a black community, our history, it is there in the books. Our history proves that we have had times we were demeaned. Even up till now, as an immigrant, if you go to the US, you are seen as a second class or even third class citizens. Of course, you would meet problems that is associated with your color, your skin color, and all that. And then imagine that you go into a pub and you have white people, you understand, and you are the only black, and then everybody's drinking beer, for instance, and you want to sit where everybody's seated, and then they tell you, go to that place. So the segregation can affect you mentally. And apart from that, slavery is one thing that's really shaped black history. You understand? So there is nothing you do as a black man that would be good enough. You understand? Just because you came from a bloodline of slaves. That is how the world looks at you. Immediately, anybody sees you. If you're on a global platform, immediately you're looked at. And then you do something special. You hear stuff like, Burna Boy is the first black man that sold out Madison Square. But just as Burna Boy noted at the Trevor Noah show he was at, he said something that was really catchy. Why is it that if a band from the US goes to Asia, you don't refer to them as the first the first white band that sold out in Asia? You understand? But why is it that you're always the black skin is there is a whole lot of sensitivity there, you understand? Yeah. So now we black people, a whole lot of black people have reasons to have low self-esteem when you go outside Africa, you understand? But then I think the black race is the strongest when it even comes to mental strength. You understand? There is nothing you do to a black man that weighs him down totally. You understand? So, and then I also think that what's the word again? Your perception about your confidence, because that's what esteem is. Your perception about your confidence is a mental thing. And if you can overcome it at the mental level, then you can't call me a monkey and it affects me. You understand? You can call me a monkey and I pick up bananas and eat. And I smile over it. My advice also to black people is we should learn how to move on away from our history. Yes, we had slavery in this continent. That was very, very ugly. You understand? But then people like Martin Luther King have, sacrificed their lives. You understand, for the cause of this black heritage. So I think my advice to black people is that we should move on from whatsoever was done to us. We should move on from the segregation and understand that when we are going to the liberal world, that is the Western world, we are going there to make a living. Actually, that's what takes us out of Africa. You understand? We're going there to make a living. So we should just concentrate on why we are there. If you're there to school, concentrate and then prove them wrong. That is the best way to hit back at someone who's taunting you, for instance. You understand? And then coming back to the theme of low self-esteem in all of this, as a black man, you are mentally strong, you're mentally I think black people are more, without any sense of racial discrimination, I think black people are more mentally stable than any other race in the world. Look at Nigeria. Whatsoever we face here, we still stand, we don't fizzle out, you understand? We still stand strong, and you can still maintain a level of mental stability as a Nigerian. You're a Nigerian, so you know what that means. So I think the whole thing is a mental thing, and when you deal with it mentally, you can gain that stability and then just move on. Okay, so to every problem there's a solution, and then that's going to take us to the concept of emotional intelligence in the case of low self-esteem. So what do you have to say about that?
Okay, low self-esteem is like other problems. It's actually a very big problem, especially with regards to mental health. And when you talk about solutions to these problems, I would like to talk about the emotional intelligence you mentioned. Emotional intelligence is quite critical to every field, and it can be of great help to the issue of low self-esteem. Like emotional intelligence is just the ability for you to recognize, understand, and be able to manage your emotions as well as the emotions of other people, such that you can properly relate with them without damage to yourself. Okay. And so the 5 emotional intelligence skills: number 1, self-awareness. For someone who has low self-esteem, you need to come to the realization that you have low self-esteem. Understand? Yeah. You have to come to that point that you accept. It's hard for people to accept that they have mental health issues. Understand? Okay. It's very hard. Like nobody will accept. Understand? The other day, a certain minister said about 80% of Nigerians have a percentage of madness in them. Understand? And it was funny though. It was funny, but I understood him. He was coming from the perspective of mental health. Okay, let me share a story. When I was schooling in Makurdi, I was in an all-boys school. So when my dad changed me to police school here in Akwa Ibom State, I had the privilege to interact with girls for like the very first time, to interact at that level. For the very first time, like really interact with them, see them, and it was boarding house, so you get to see them all the time. So now there was this stuff they did in class. It was a presentation. So we divided us into different groups. My group were all boys, and since I was a little smart in class, these guys now chose me to represent the group. Each represented for a group. So that was my first time standing in front of women, making a presentation of something I knew very well. I remember the topic was horticulture. I stood there that day and I was shivering, like the whole class was laughing at me. I was shivering like this. It was, God, it was so embarrassing. And it's called low. It was terrible. I knew horticulture very well, but it's called low because I was down to it that I couldn't do it. I went back to the hostel and I told myself that day, there was this, I think I came to the point of self-awareness, understand? Then I told myself that day that I'm going to overcome women, understand? So I had these writings in my mind, which was, whenever I see it, I'm like, now human being she no good she no go kill me. Yeah. So there was this, it was always there. Whenever I see a girl, I know the two sender because I understand we're all imperfect. So I think I came at the point of that self-awareness.
Okay.
Then also you have to get to this next skill, emotional intelligence skill, self-recognition, understand? You have to recognize your strengths and your weaknesses, understand? So that it will enable you to set boundaries, understand? Yeah. To avoid things that will trigger you down to that level, understand? Okay. So there's this point of self-recognition. Also, the next skill is empathy, understand? Though it's more being empathetic to other people, but I also say you have to be empathic to yourself. Yes. You have to love yourself. Self first. You have to be very compassionate about yourself. You have to understand that we are imperfect, understand? You have to forgive yourself when you go wrong and try again, understand? We have lots of opportunities every day, so it shouldn't be something that you go down. Okay. Then also, the next skill is social skills, understand? You have to have this ability to interact with people, understand? Respect their opinions and don't allow their toxicity affect your health, understand? Don't compare yourself with them and don't just maintain that level of interacting with them friendly, respect their views and respect your views as well. Then I think the last point is motivation, understand? I think that's, I would say the point where I used to see in my mind that no be normal women be this, I'll not go die. So I think I was at that point I was intrigued, I was motivating myself, understand? Intrinsically. Yeah, I was just giving myself marbles such that these days it's just easy. It's very easy. I relate to girls very well at a fundamental level. And
you check them very
well, yes. I think at that point I didn't even have a girlfriend then. I think after that period
Okay, so we know that there are roses in your house right now.
Hopefully.
What do you have to say to the audience about low self-esteem, just in brief?
Okay, in brief, I would say those with low self-esteem should actually work on their confidence. That's the main thing. Yeah. Confidence. Yeah. Stop comparing yourself with people. Live in your own moral standard. Your own what you feel is right. Live at that level. Then I also say try to do something meaningful. To grow confidence. Let's say you join a charity. You follow a foundation. Just do something that will give you this joy, like going to the gym or something.
And don't forget to join a church fellowship.
Yes. If that will pull you out, just do. Yes, I understand that we are human experience is imperfect. Yeah. Human nature is imperfect. So you have to learn that there are opportunities every day, and you should forgive yourself and try again. Understand? Just be at that point where you are happy for who you are, and you are happy at wherever you are.
Yeah, sorry, I have to cut this off because our time is up, and then we've come to the end of the show nowward. I really want to appreciate you guys for making it out here. I'm privileged to have you guys speak legends, like you guys legends, speak on the topic low self-esteem. You've heard everything. You've heard what they have to say. You've heard how you should tackle low self-esteem. It's not a good thing. Don't endure it. Don't keep yourself in that particular space. Do something about it. Go out of that shell. Go out of that niche. Create something out of yourself. Be big. Go big. Go big. Get into the limelight. Everyone has a spotlight. Whether it's the stars looking at you, you have a spotlight. You have to create a light for yourself. So right now, I am thanking you guys, and I really appreciate the fact that you went through this show with me. I'm grateful for that. I am your host, Wisdom Godwin. See you same time next week on another wonderful edition of the show Nowward. Our social media handles are on the screen. Click the subscribe button, follow us, and see more of these adventures. Thank you.